बोलिए सतगुरु महाराज की जय, सच्चे दरबार की जय. Thank you everyone for joining us for today's spiritual discourse. You remember when you were a child and you're trying to solve a math problem or trying to finish your homework? There were two words that you were constantly told by your teachers, by your parents. Pay attention. Or when you had just learned to ride your bike, the training wheels were removed, and you're riding down the street and you see a squirrel cross the path. You start to look in the direction of the squirrel. Your parents would yell, "Look where you're going, focus on the road." But you know, as your focus, as your attention shifted to that squirrel, you lost your balance and fell off your bike. Or when you're running a race, the coaches constantly remind you to focus on the finish line. Don't pay attention to where your competitors are in comparison to you. Just pay attention to your goal. Even as we drive through the highways and freeways, there are constant reminders. Pay attention to the road. So why is so much importance given to attention? Because where our attention goes, our energy flows. And the direction our energy flows in determines our destiny, determines where we are headed in life. Because attention creates our path. Attention creates a need within us, and that need builds motivation and then brings about action. Let me share with a short example. A group of frogs were playing around, and as they're competing with each other about how high and how far they can jump, two frogs fall into a pail of buttermilk. And as they're struggling to come up, to gasp some air, the friends outside the pail start to say, "There is no way you're getting out. It's impossible. This is the end." One of the frogs pays attention to what his friends are saying and tries with one or two jumps, but then gives up. But the other frog pays no attention to what his friends are saying, but only pays attention to his inner voice that tells him that you can make it out of this pail. And he continues to jump and jump, continues to try. And as he continues to jump, that buttermilk starts to become butter, giving him enough room to stay afloat and jump out of the pail. His friends asked, they were amazed. "How did this happen? We knew that it was impossible, that there was no way you were going to make it out of this pail. Did you not hear what we were saying?" And he says, "I was not paying attention to anything you were telling me. I was focused on one thing, that I needed to come out of this pail." So as he brought his attention to his one goal, his energy started to flow in that direction. And that energy built motivation and caused him to do action that eventually brought him out of the pail. So where our attention goes holds great importance of where we are headed. I want you to take a moment and stop and think about where your attention has been going lately. As we're surrounded with this pandemic, are you constantly focused on the death toll numbers? Are you constantly living in fear of contracting this virus? What are the thoughts that are occupying your mind's space? Because where our attention goes, that becomes our reality. Good and bad both exist. Positivity, negativity, both exist. But what we focus upon is what becomes our reality, what becomes our truth. If we're constantly focused on the negative, if we're constantly focused on the fear, on death, then we wear the lens of negativity and we see something negative in every situation. But if we wear the lens of positivity, then we will see positive things even in difficult situations. We'll see the light in the darkness as well. Fred Rogers, who was a children television presenter. Fred Rogers, who was a children television presenter, said that when he was young and he watched the news, he would get scared. But his mother would constantly remind him and say, look for the helpers. In every situation, there are helpers who are helping to make it better. And he said every time there was a disaster, every time there was terrible news, I remembered my mother's words. And I always found that there were a handful of people that were helping to make the situation better. That in every terrible situation, I always found helpers. So what we focus upon depends on us, is our choice. But what happened along the way? Why did these two words that we constantly heard, pay attention, why did they lose importance? Because we all know today, we live in the world of multitasking, where we can watch a movie, have a conversation, and play a video game on our cell phone all at the same time, not giving anything our 100%. We live in this world of distractions. You know, as you start to scroll social media, it could be hours by the time you're done. So why along the years did we stop giving importance to where we focused our attention? Saint Rumi says, what you seek will seek you. That if you're looking for love, peace, and happiness, it will find its way to you. But if you're looking for fear, if you're looking for anger, if you're looking for darkness, then that's what you will find. Because they all exist. But what you focus upon depends on you. And saints have constantly come to remind us to turn our attention inwards. This pandemic has forced us to recognize that there is more to life than that mundane rat race that we had engulfed ourselves in. That there is a bigger purpose of why we exist. And this is the truth that saints and sages continuously came to remind us of. They always turned our attention, turned our focus inwards. We all know that focus has great strength. It is focus that helps an athlete come out with flying colors. It is that focus that makes them the best at their game. It is focus that makes a scientist come up with a great invention, come up with a great creation. When the rays of the sun are focused through a magnifying glass, it can burn a piece of paper underneath. Such is the power of focus. So instead of letting your brain, your attention be scattered in so many different directions, gather that, harness that energy, and turn your focus, your direction to yourself. Think about what are the things that are in your mind space. You remember when you're trying to buy a car and you think to yourself, I'm going to buy a unique car, something that not a lot of people drive, or I'm going to get a color that's different, that's unique. And once you buy that car, you start to see that car everywhere. It seems like everybody decided to buy the same car. It's not that those cars didn't exist or that color didn't exist, but it's because you brought attention to it. You started to see it everywhere. You started to recognize it everywhere. Or when you have a favorite song, no matter where you go, when you step into a mall, there's always music playing, and maybe you've never paid attention to it. But the minute your favorite song plays, you're reminded, you're like, oh, my favorite song is playing. So it's not that things do not exist, but when we bring our attention to it, it becomes real. So whatever you focus upon, that is what will grow and expand. The choice is yours. Do you want to grow and expand fear, or grow and expand love? Do you want to grow darkness or light? We are at the mercy of ourselves. So it's important to be vigilant about what are the thoughts that are occupying your mind space. Where is your attention going throughout the day? Stop for a few moments every day. Sit with yourself and ask yourself, what am I thinking? What am I feeling? What am I focusing upon? We've heard the law of attraction, that whatever you focus upon is what you will attract towards yourself. You are the creator of your own destiny. So brothers and sisters, your true wealth is what you focus upon. Your true wealth is what you're expending your energy on. So be alert, be conscious, and be aware of what you're putting your attention towards. On that note, we'll conclude today's discourse. Boliye Satguru Maharaj ki Jai. Sache Darbar ki Jai. Till next time, everyone, please stay safe, stay healthy, continue to meditate, and connect with your true self.